Good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss a problem on projectile motion. Now, as you people already know, projectile motion is a type of a 2D motion. The other types that we know are one is circular motion, other is simple harmonic motion, and the third type which we have is the projectile motion. Let us discuss the question. It says that an object is launched at a velocity of 20 meters per second in a direction making an angle 25-degree upward with the horizontal. A part asks us what is the maximum height reached by the object. B part asks us what is the total flight of time taken by the object. So whenever you see a problem on projectile, the first thing that you do is try to draw it on a paper. Try to draw this motion and get a feel of how things are actually happening. So this black flat line represents the ground and this blue line represents a projectile. This is the trajectory. The projectile was fired with a velocity of 20 meters per second, and they have given that it makes an angle of 25-degree with the horizontal. In solving all projectile questions, the first step one has to do is to resolve the given velocity into two parts. One is the horizontal velocity and the other is the vertical velocity. The horizontal velocity in this case would be 20 cos 25 and the vertical velocity in this case would be 20 sin 25. Now, as we know, whenever projectile is fired from the ground, as it goes up in its journey, the vertical component of the projectile is affected by the force of gravity, whereas the horizontal component remains unaffected. Let me remind you people that we are considering an ideal situation where there is no viscous drag offered by the air. If I have to represent this phenomena on the board, it would look somewhat like this. This is the projectile, and the vertical part will go on reducing, ultimately becoming zero at the top, and then again increasing in the reverse direction as the object descends. Fine? Alright. So now let us try to answer part A of the question, which asks us to find out what is the maximum height reached by the object. Now to calculate this, let us think if we can make a use of any kinematical equations which we know. We know that at maximum height, the velocity goes to zero. This fact we are already aware of. We have the third kinematical equation which says v square is equal to u square plus 2a into s, where v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, a is the acceleration, and s is the displacement. In our case, we have final velocity as 0 because at maximum height, the final velocity becomes 0. Initial velocity was 20 sine 25, isn't it? 2, the acceleration due to gravity would be negative. Let's take it as minus 10 for simplicity. In reality, it is 9.8, but let's take it as minus 10 for simplicity of calculations. And displacement is what we are asked to find out. So we will just have to rearrange this. So this 2 into minus 10 into s can go this side and become 20s is equal to 20 sine 25. The next step would be to simplify this. So 20 will be cancelled. S would be equal to sine of, let me correct this. This is 20 square. So 120 will go off and S will be equal to 20 sine square 25. Fine. Now you people can use your calculator or either your logarithmic table to find out the value of sine 25. It comes out to be 0.426 and the square of it would be 0.178, and therefore the final answer for this question will be 3.5721. So the vertical displacement is 3.57 meters. Let's go and discuss part B of the question. In part B, they have asked us the time of flight of the projectile. So this time is the total time when it goes from this point to the other point. Now, when I drew the velocity diagram, you could notice that the velocity of the vertical part exactly reverses on the other side when the projectile completes its journey. I repeat, velocity exactly reverses itself when the projectile hits the other side of the ground. So this means we can take final velocity for the full range as minus 20 sine 25. Initial velocity would remain as it is, which is 20 sine 25. The time of flight, of course, we don't know. S, which is the displacement, vertical displacement in this journey would be 0. And we are supposed to get the time of flight. Perfect. Okay. Now we know the equation, the first and the basic kinematical equation which is often used by students is V is equal to U plus A into T. Initial final velocity we just put as minus sine 25. The initial velocity was 20 sine 25. A was minus 10 and T is what we are required to find out. We will just simplify this equation. So it will become 2 into 20 into sine 25. It should be equal to 10t. Simplifying it further, it will lead to t is equal to 4 sine 25. We can use our calculator to find out the answer for this, and it comes out to be 1.6904 seconds. This is how we solve such projectile questions. Thank you.